Hello there, good evening. Welcome to Look North, our top story tonight. The mother of a North Yorkshire teenager who died from a rare form of cancer calls for action.
It's just unsustainable that a cancer with a 15% 5-year survival rate isn't researched. We've got to do something about that, and if we don't, we're letting Liz down, and we're letting all the Liz's that come after down as well.
Liz Hatton's story inspired many people. We'll hear more about her legacy. Also tonight, Rob's dream is another step closer to reality. We've got the latest on work to open a centre for people with motor neurone disease in Leeds. And stepping into a dry river lock as vital restoration work gets underway.
Now, Yorkshire Wildlife Park may be well known for its animals in the daytime, but at this time of year, the animals get lit up at night. Join us for the Winter Illuminations Trail.
Well, if you saw any blue sky today, you'll have been lucky. This was Lady Bower Reservoir looking quite leaden. But what about tomorrow and the rest of the week? Join me for that detailed forecast.
Hello there, good evening. Thank you for joining us. Tonight we're going to bring you two stories of inspirational people making a real difference in our region and with their legacy helping to further research into life-limiting illnesses. The Rob Burrows Centre for People Living with MND is a step closer to becoming a reality. We'll look at that shortly. But first we start with brave teenager Liz Hatton. It's almost 2 weeks since she died from a rare and aggressive form of cancer, desmoplastic small round cell tumour. At just 17, Liz began to complete a photography bucket list after her diagnosis, and it inspired many people, including the Princess of Wales. Today, Vicky, her mum, has paid tribute to her kind daughter and says research into the disease is what Liz wanted.
We never thought it would be us, you know. Liz was the healthiest child alive, but less than 10 months from diagnosis, we lost her. So we just try and get through each moment as we can, really. We're all better when we're busy and feel like we're being proactive and doing something for Liz than when we're sat there wallowing, mostly because it's so not Liz.
There's been such an outpouring of love, hasn't there, since Liz's passing, but also since her diagnosis. From strangers, from the Prince and Princess of Wales. How much comfort do you take from that?
Oh, so much comfort. And I think, you know, the morning after the day she died, when it was just everywhere, it was just incredible to think that our little girl had kind of touched the hearts of so many people. It's very much a way, I think, for all of us of keeping her alive.
It's always been my happy place, photography. When I get behind a camera, it's a lot easier to ignore what's going on with the rest of my body.
17-year-old Liz was a talented photographer. Earlier this year, she was diagnosed with a rare cancer, desmoplastic small round cell tumour. She aspired to make her passion a profession. With the help of the Princess of Wales and fashion photographer ranking, her dream became a reality in the short time she had left.
Oh, it was everything. I think, you know, all any parent wants is their children's dreams to come true. And we're so grateful to all the people that helped us to make it happen for her, because right until the end she was still travelling. She was taking photos in London on the Friday before she died while on IV meds, which is virtually unheard of, to be travelling around at that point.
She struck me as a very determined young woman, and she had a very clear path of what she wanted to happen, didn't she, when her life here had finished?
She did. Her body is now at Glasgow University, where she's donated it to medical science, and then we were left with the instructions to raise as much awareness and as many funds for desmoplastic small round cell tumour as we can.
The money will fund more research into the disease, a wish Liz's younger brother Matteo hopes people will take note of.
If I could say anything, I would probably say just raise awareness about desmoplastic small round cell tumour, because it's all my sister ever wanted, for other people to survive from it. Because after a year, after like 4 months, we got told that she was going to die eventually. So all she wanted from then is to raise awareness about it.
It's just unsustainable that a cancer with a 15% 5-year survival rate isn't researched. We've got to do something about that. We made the most of every day. No day, no second was wasted. She knew how loved she was, and we knew how much she loved us. But it's not okay. It's not okay for future Liz's, and we have to change that on her behalf.
And talking about change in the future, what do you hope Liz's legacy will be?
I hope it'll be one of kindness. I think if we were all a bit more Liz and we all thought, you know, what can we do to help someone else now, then the world would be a better place.
Having cancer has actually brought our family a lot closer together. And now I can say hand on heart that they would do anything for me. I couldn't ask for any better family.
The words of Liz Hatton there, ending that piece. I can't believe how brave her mom is to be able to speak so soon after losing her daughter. But she's done it to raise awareness and raise funds, and in the last half hour we have heard that the fundraiser set up in Liz's memory has reached over £33,000, which is just incredible. Now, 3 years after intensive fundraising, Rob Burrows' dream of building an MND centre in Leeds has reached its multi-million-pound target. £6.8 million has been raised by thousands of donors and building work is well underway. The Rugby League star died in June from motor neurone disease, but his legacy will mean other patients get better treatment in a building, especially for them. Kathy Killick reports.
It's a day of jubilant celebration and achievement, bringing smiles to the Burrow family and MND patients alike. After 3 short years, the ambitious £6.8 million target has been reached. It was Rob Burrows' dream to get here, and with the help of indomitable friends along the way, we've all done it together.
We're so proud, aren't we? And I know Rob will be looking down today. He'll be absolutely thrilled to bits, won't he?
Well, Rob's sort of trademark saying was, in a world full of adversity, we must dare to dream. We dreamt about this, and dreams do come true sometimes.
The MND centre Rob dreamed of is well underway and will contain within its walls the signatures of campaigners and patients who've strived to make it a reality.
We've waited for this and hoped for this, and it's now real. You know, it was always going to happen, we knew that, but this is real. It's a gorgeous building. You know, and it's so fitting that there's so many patients, so many people here today that have helped.
You can see them all today, they're all beaming, they're all smiling. This has given them hope that actually somebody cares about them, about their well-being. So, you know, and coming to a place where they get, which is fit for purpose, addresses their needs. So yes, a warm, welcoming space.
Rob's best friend, Kevin Sinfield, has led the field in his fundraising efforts, but ultimately even his contribution was made up of thousands of small donations. Despite COVID and the cost of living crisis, it's the compassion and generosity of the public that's made this possible.
I've been doing this for over 30 years and this has been a phenomenon. I think I talk about how this has really transcended rugby. This has brought an entire community with it, an entire country. Everyone got behind Rob's story and Lindsay, the family. It's been incredible. Over 17,000 people have donated to this appeal.
One family's openness and courage while facing a truly agonising twist of fate has inspired so many people to give of their best. And it'll make a difference to future patients for years to come. Kathy Killick, BBC Look North, Leeds.
Certainly will make a huge difference. Two really inspirational stories and people there. Let's take a look at some other stories coming into our newsroom now. A man from West Yorkshire who killed and then hid the body of a woman in a wheelie bin has been jailed. Mark Metcalf was sentenced to 17 years in prison at Leeds Crown Court for the manslaughter of Teresa Jordan in 2022. He's also sentenced for preventing a lawful burial after hiding her body for 2 weeks in a wheelie bin near Asda in Hare Hills. Councillors in Kirklees have voted to transfer 2 dementia care homes in the district to a private operator. Castle Grange and Huddersfield and Claremont House in Hetman Wyke were originally going to close because of budget problems, which led to protests against the move from residents' families. 5 operators have expressed an interest in running the homes. Kirklees Council is expected to reach a decision next month. South Yorkshire's Police Chief Constable Lauren Poultney has praised the bravery of her officers while giving evidence in the House of Commons about the police's response to the riots in August outside the hotel housing asylum seekers in Manvers on the outskirts of Rotherham. Lauren Poultney told the Home Affairs Committee that 67 officers from South Yorkshire Police were physically hurt that day, with injuries including broken bones and concussion.
I've heard accounts from officers that were there when the building was breached and curtains were set alight. They managed to clear those that had breached outside, back outside again, but remained in the building to keep it safe while it was filled with smoke. There were some incredible acts of bravery that day. I'm incredibly proud of the police officers and the work that they did, and there was some superhuman effort by them.
Pupils in Bradford have been taking their fight to save their school bus service direct to officials today. It's after Bradford Council announced plans to axe the route serving 2 schools as it tries to save money. Our reporter Aisha Iqbal has been at Bradford City Hall this evening with some of those campaigning, and she can tell us more.
Good evening from Bradford, where children from St Bede's and St Joseph's Catholic College marched on the building behind me earlier, urging officials to change their minds about plans to cut their school bus routes. In fact, they packed out the public gallery. This is ultimately about Bradford Council's financial predicament, a precarious one that we've talked about a lot. They're facing a financial black hole of about £40 million a year, and various services have been cut back. They say that when it comes to these 2 bus routes that they're reviewing, they simply can't afford to subsidise them anymore because not enough children who qualify for free school transport use the service. However, for many, many families, there's a bigger picture to be looked at.
Don't take away the school buses, they're a necessity for the school.
If I were to lose a school bus, I would have to take 2 school buses and wake up much earlier. So I would have to potentially find a different school which is closer to my house.
The council need to listen to young people, because maybe we aren't the voters of today, but we are the voters of tomorrow.
The wheels on the bus are still going round, but for how long?
I think it's really important because the buses make up the school.
Bradford's one of the youngest population, so I think that taking the buses away from our school especially, it's a bit wrongful and it's contradicting what the council says.
I just think they need to really reconsider what they're doing and decide what we're spending is more important, and I think that school buses, access to a decent education is really important, and that really needs to be reconsidered.
The council admits it's a tough decision to make, but the maths just isn't working as things are.
It's all about money, I'm afraid, at the end of the day, isn't it? And we know we're financially challenged in the local authority, as many are around the country, so we have to look at things like this. I can't come up with a decision now. We're in a consultation period, and we are listening to all stakeholders and other agencies to see what can be done.
This is one of the biggest Catholic schools in the country and is only one of 2 in the Bradford district. There is a fear axing the school buses could have bigger implications for future admissions and access here.
This is a decision that affects families around the city and ultimately the future of these children. And we can't put a price on that, certainly not £200,000 or £500,000, whatever has been quoted.
I think it's extremely important because the infrastructure to move to public transport just doesn't exist in Bradford today. For the sheer volume of children that are using these buses, they can't accommodate that at the peak times of the day. So this will not just impact our children getting on these buses, this will impact people that are already using the buses.
Well, this evening, 2 separate petitions have been handed into Bradford Council decision makers. One from the children at St Bede's, another relating to proposed cuts at Bingley Grammar School. A final decision is not going to be made until a public consultation is completed. And even then, it's likely to come in the new year when the council is also going to approve its final budget plans for 2025.
Aisha Iqbal there for us. Just a little bit of sports news. England wing Rob Hawkins has been named as International Wheelchair Rugby League Player of the Year, also known as the Golden Boot. 22-year-old Hawkins, who also plays for the Halifax Panthers, is the youngest player to win the prestigious award. He starred for England in their recent 2-match series against rivals France and helped the Halifax Panthers to the grand final.
It was a shock, really. I know with how many participants I had to go up against, I know it was definitely a competition and a difficult decision for the panel to actually make, but I was really astounded and really shocked as well, just to say that I've won the Golden Boot, especially at the age of 22 as well, being one of the youngest people to win it alongside some of the players from the men and women's side. It's an amazing achievement for myself.
Now, when I say ballroom dancing, what comes to mind? The tango, the waltz, or watching Strictly Come Dancing on a Saturday night? Well, for 15-year-old Sienna from Leeds, it will be all of the above after her and her dance partner were crowned the Junior British National Ballroom Champions in Blackpool last month. Sienna joins me with her very impressive silverware. Sienna, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
How does it feel?
It felt amazing. For like the first month we were just leading up to it. I mean, it was a whole year probably leading up to the competition, but the intense training for the moment on stage, it was a really good feeling.
So you swept the board in all 5 dances. Tell me what they were.
It was the waltz, tango, foxtrot, Viennese waltz and quick step.
Oh my goodness. All totally different, aren't they?
Yeah.
Which is your favourite?
Foxtrot.
Why?
I think for ballroom dancing it has like the most stretch, and for me it just feels like the most ballroomy. But I love all 5 dances, but I'd probably say that was my favourite.
How do you feel when you're dancing? Because you must love this.
Yeah, it does feel good. It feels like we train so hard, and then for the moments on stage, like it all comes together when you just perform on the stage.
Now tell me how you became inspired by this, because I think there's lots of people who can probably relate to your story.
Well, from a young age I was always dancing. From 2 I started doing just ballet, which my mum put me in, and then when I was 4 I went to a dance class in Leeds for ballroom and Latin, and I just really loved it. I was watching Strictly on the TV because obviously my family was watching it, and I just really enjoyed watching it, and I fell in love when I was doing the classes.
So Strictly fell into a lifelong passion. And you've actually trained with Shirley Ballas as well, haven't you? So
yeah.
To watch her on Strictly and then have her teaching you how to dance, how was that?
Yeah, it was really good. It was the first lesson I had with her. I was like just in awe because I'd obviously seen her on the TV. But when obviously we started she taught me quite regularly from my start of my junior career, and she was a very good teacher.
Oh, great. So what is next for you, very briefly? Where do we take this next?
Well, we have many competitions throughout the year. In January we've got a big competition, an international comp, where people from all over the world will come to do the competition, and it's a world championship. So we'll probably be training for that next, but from now until April was our last junior competitions, because in May I turned 16.
Oh my gosh, so then it's the seniors.
We move up. So we move up to youth, which is another category.
Yeah.
But so we're just trying to push for all the comps until then.
Do we think we could see you as a pro dancer on Strictly one day?
Hopefully.
Watch this space. Sienna, well done. And thanks for
you.
bringing the trophies in.
Thank you so much.
Now here is something that you don't often see. 250 years of history have been unmasked in Leeds with the draining of one of the city's canal landmarks. Riverlock Number 1 opened in 1777, linking the Leeds-Liverpool Canal to the River Aire at Granary Wharf. Fast forward to 2024 and the lock has become so leaky, the number of boats using it has to be limited. Well, now it's been drained of water for repair. We sent Olivia Richwald to find out more.
In the heart of Leeds city centre, a relic of Georgian engineering is getting a much-needed repair. Opened in 1777, Granary Wharf's Riverlock Number 1 is absolutely essential for the navigation of the northern canals and rivers.
In 1777, here in this spot, they completed this
section connecting Leeds right through to Gargrave and up into Craven. So it was a vital transport link that was transformative in this region. It was absolutely tremendous, the impact it had on the economy and infrastructure of this area back in 1777.
This lock allows boats to travel from the Leeds-Liverpool Canal to the Ayr and Calder via the river, but it had become very leaky.
Essentially the lock was struggling to hold water, so it's difficult for boaters to use. We have to run it on a restricted time through the summer, where people can only come through between, say, 1 and 3.
But until the lock was emptied, or to use the official term, de-watered, it was hard to see where the leak was coming from.
Well, one of the surprises was this floor. The condition of the floor here is, obviously, as you can see, very damaged, very eroded, just worn out. Upstream we've got 2 ground paddles that need fixing where leaks are coming through, they're just old and degraded over time. We've got lots of repair works to these gates, repair to the sill underneath the gates.
The water level in the canal basin is about 5 metres above me just up there, and the River Ayr is being held back by a dam about 4 metres above me over there. It's not very often you get to see the very bottom of Granary Wharf. In fact, the last time this lock was de-watered was 15 years ago. The Canal and River Trust holds open days to allow the public to see the work up close. The charity says climate change is impacting the network and affording repairs like this is becoming a real challenge.
Last year alone, from named storms, we saw £10 million worth of damage. So that's £10 million we weren't expecting to spend, which we then had to go and spend on the network to, restore that damage, repair anything that had gone wrong after those storms. And that's really why Canal and River Trust has launched a fundraising appeal and is asking people to help support us.
The repair work is expected to take about 2 months. Olivia Richwald, BBC Look North, Leeds.
Now, polar bears, lions, meerkats and lots more are preparing for Christmas in Doncaster. The Yorkshire Wildlife Park has installed 3 kilometres worth of lights and lanterns along their winter illumination trail. It looks fabulous, doesn't it? It's new for this year. It's called Around the World in 80 Days and displays transporting people all over the globe. Rumour has it, it's not only humans who are feeling festive. Beth Parsons is live for us there this evening. Beth, I hope it looks as good in real life as it does on camera, because it's spectacular.
I think it looks even better, actually, Amy. Now, I'll be honest, animals and Christmas, 2 of my favourite things in the whole world. And it would seem, despite it being one of the colder months, a lot of people agree, because December is actually nearly as busy as August for the team here at Yorkshire Wildlife Park. You could see the animals during the day, but at night time, the winter illumination trail is why people are coming along. Now, Cheryl, this is the 4th time that you've done this here at the park. What is it and what is new for this year?
Well, this is our biggest and best winter illuminations trail ever. So we've got lots of lanterns, we've got lights, we've got projections on the lake, and this is our new Around the World installation here. So, people come here, have a great time, fairground rides, lots of festive food. So they come for the real Christmas experience.
Now, obviously, a lot of people would come here to see animals in the daytime. Will they get to see any of those, or will they all be asleep?
A lot of them have gone to bed by the time the winter illuminations start, which obviously is in the evening. However, you may catch a glimpse of some of our animals that prefer the night. So you might catch a glimpse of the tiger, the leopard or the hyena, not promising it. They might be there in the darkness, but they'll be watching you whatever.
I quite like that, very ominous actually. And actually, when I arrived at the park, I could hear lions roaring. I think they were just missing out on the fact that they couldn't be on television today. Neville, let's chat about the animals. I know that in the past we have seen polar bears and lions playing with Christmas presents. We've seen meerkats in Christmas trees. Are they getting some good Christmas treatment this year as well?
Oh yes, the rangers spoil them to death, so they have some special sort of presents and prizes and things like that. So yeah, and we got 2 special animals this time round. The lions from Ukraine and our cheetah cubs. So it's their first Christmas, and yeah, they're going to spoil them to death.
Oh, how do you spoil animals here in Doncaster? What do they get?
Well, spoiler alert. It's going to be a bit meaty, it's going to be a bit car body, and it's going to have a little ribbon on the top. So yeah, apart from that, we've got to keep it a bit of a surprise.
Right. That sounds pretty good. I'll be there, to be honest. Cardboard boxes for presents and meat on your Christmas table. So it sounds pretty perfect. Both of you, thank you so much. And if you want to come along to the Winter Illuminations Trail here at Yorkshire Wildlife Park, it's on until the 4th of January.
Thanks, Beth. And in 2 minutes, she's been to China, India and Egypt as well. Thank you for that, Beth. While we are talking about festive animals, take a look at this. Where is it? Oh my goodness me! Natasha has sent us this picture of her tortoise in a very festive hat. I absolutely love that. I can safely say I've never seen anything like that.
It's bordering on animal cruelty, is that?
We also spoke last night about our lovely festive Christmas tree because it has been put up this week, much to Paul's delight.
Oh, it's
and
gorgeous.
take a look at this picture. Sharon, Ian and Rascal sent us this fabulous picture of the tree. It's actually quite similar to ours, isn't it? Paul, you do spoil the picture there in the background.
Yeah, I'm going to say I've spoiled that a bit, if you can spoil a white Christmas tree, but there we are.
I think it's
Very
lovely.
nice.
Thank you for sending that in. Keep those fabulous pictures coming in. The more the merrier. Trees and pets, please.
As long as they're green trees. Let's have a look at a couple of pictures you've sent in over the last 24 hours because there's not been too much to talk about. But look at that. Is that possibly the earliest daffodil in history?
No way.
That is true. That is just by the university in York, and I don't know what's going on there. But that is definitely a live daffodil. And at Scarborough, well, you were very lucky. We had about 32 seconds of sunshine in Scarborough today. The rest of us have had to put up with leaden skies, and that's the way of it, really, for the next couple of days. So if you've got any pictures you would like to get on the TV, you can send them to me on X, on Instagram, and on the Weather Watcher website. So really what you've had today, you're going to have tomorrow. It looks largely dry, but mostly cloudy with any brightness, just a few glimmers of brightness. High pressure in charge. I think, unfortunately, if anything, the cloud will thicken into Thursday, could bring a risk of a little drizzle in places. That's the way of it on Friday, but we have high hopes that this cold front will come through Saturday morning. Behind it, there should be a lot of sunshine, so certainly the weekend looks a lot better than the one we've just had. Now you can see the sheer extent of the cloud. It extends right out into the middle of the North Sea, and that continues to push southwestwards across our region. So this evening and overnight, there is a risk of the odd spot of drizzle. Otherwise, excuse me, otherwise it's largely dry. No ground frost, I don't think, tonight. Temperatures around 4 Celsius, that's 39 Fahrenheit. Tomorrow's high water times, Filey 12:39, Bridlington at 12:56. So tomorrow, the risk of the odd spot of drizzle, otherwise it's dry. Again, you can see the extent of the cloud. A few breaks coming through. There might be a bit of blue sky for a time, otherwise it's cloudy. And we'll see temperatures around 7 degrees. Amy, that's the forecast.
I think maybe we should forget weather pictures for December and let's just go festive. Trees, animals.
I think we've been festive for the last month, haven't we,
Anything
Amy?
festive, send it to us. Let's get really into the spirit. I know Paul loves it as much as I do. That's it. Good night.